All right, we will begin this morning. It is good to see everybody out with us today. We're thankful for your presence. As we have been saying for the last several weeks, today is Missions Sunday for us. And if you have been with us here at Northport for any time period over a year, then you are aware we do this every single year. It is a day that we choose to cast, if you will, a spotlight on mission work and evangelism, and we are thrilled to have you with us today. We're thrilled to have another one of these opportunities to talk about the idea of missions, mission work, evangelism, and to kind of focus upon that for our day. If you have not gotten one coming in the door, we would ask you to make sure to do that before you leave today. There is a missions bulletin, if you will, that updates all of our mission work on it, and we appreciate those who have helped compile all of that information for us and made that available. There are also some books out on the round table in the middle of the foyer, and those books are free of charge if you'd like to take one of those. And so they have very good information in them. Today for our Bible class, we are going to be led by Ross Bozeman. One of the things that we hope in every one of our missions day is to encourage everyone to realize there is something we can do evangelistically. Every single one of us have the capacity to share the gospel in some way or another with others. You look to John chapter 1, early on in Jesus' ministry, people are being brought to Jesus. You go to 1 Corinthians 3, you'll find Paul saying, I planted, but Apollos watered, and it's God who gives the increase. And so there's something when it comes to evangelism, mission work, things of that nature, that every single one of us can do. We all can find our place in sharing the good news of the kingdom of Jesus Christ with other people. And Ross is a really, really good example of that. Ross is going to detail for us if you will, report giving some news from the Tanzania mission trip that many went on from the congregation here last summer. And he's a very good example of that because prior to last year going to Tanzania, Ross had, number one, never been on a mission trip. Number two, had never been out of the country, and number three, had never been on an airplane before. So Ross is a wonderful example. Someone who had not participated in evangelism in regards to going out of country and doing that type of thing before, but yet did a really good job along with so many others from here. And so we're going to turn things over to him at this time. Ross?
Thank you, Kerry, for that welcome. Yes, this was my first time on a mission trip, on an airplane, out of the country, all of the above. It was extremely nerve-wracking. Most of you have probably already heard this report from me, but hopefully this will bring awareness and a lot of goodwill towards the Tanzania mission trip, not only for 2027, but for Mr. Greg, who is leaving this week for about a month. So for our team, we have Bo, Miss Teresa, Miss Cindy, Jeff, Janine, David, myself, Sydney, and then Austin and Annie, who we picked up in Georgia. They live in the Atlanta area, so there was no sense for them to drive to Birmingham just to fly back to Atlanta. That's why we picked them up in Atlanta. This was one of the smaller groups that went on the mission trip this time. We're hoping for 2027 that we either have the same amount or it doubles, maybe even triples. I know David and I were talking before, and he's expecting a larger group, and that would be fantastic. Now, before our trip, we had to do a lot. We started in February and in March preparing for this mission trip, and it looks like preparing our Bible study lessons. And since we had such a small group, we were prepared in twos, except for Sydney, who is he's the lone wolf of the group. He liked to go out on his own. He was very familiar with everyone. He's done multiple mission trips before. But we were in pairs of two. Bo and myself were partnered together, which was a blessing because it was his third mission trip. and he knew a lot. He knew the area, he knew the people. It was very good for myself. Now, we had to raise money for the Mosquito River, Ngorongoro, and the Mungari Churches of Christ for their restroom facilities. If the restroom facilities were not built, the local governments would shut those churches down. So if they do not have a restroom facility, they could not worship. The money for the Bibles that were written in Swahili and Maasai, every time we would go do a Bible study, we would loan those out to those who we were studying with. They would read from the Bible from themselves, and that would actually go into what we did with the glasses. Some people needed glasses, and we brought over 300 pairs of glasses, and that is partially the reason why Bo and myself also got detained for over 2.5 hours when we landed at Kilimanjaro. Again, first time flying and out of the country, and I get detained, so I guess I can check that box off the list too. And then the Northport ladies were very gracious, and they knitted over 450 boggins to give to the children and to everyone that we met with. Now, some common words and phrases that we had to learn before the trip. Jambo means hi or hello. Asante means thank you. Asante sana, thank you very much. Caribou means welcome. Twende means let's go. Kanisa La Crista is Church of Christ. PP means candy, and you hear that a lot when we're walking to our Bible studies. When they see an Mzungu, which is a white man, they expect you to give them candy. And then Hapana means no. Now, our transportation, you could use a bus, which is the middle picture, with all our luggage stacked on the roof, tied with just a simple rope. You have the car and vans, which we used for transportation every day, and which ran us about half an hour late every day. The motorcycles with the wood strapped to the back right there. And then the bajaji, which me and Bo were crammed into the back, along with our translator and the driver. So it was about like this the entire time. The food was a little different. I know people say I'm a picky eater, but I did try everything. If you like beans and rice, you'll like the food in Tanzania, because that was lunch every single day for a week and a half. Beans, rice, some kind of bubblegum meat, and greens. Now, if you think the carrots, that picture in the top is carrots, you would be wrong. You could ask Miss Cindy, they are hot peppers, and she could only eat them after she put them in her mouth because she had such shock, and they were hot. And this is how they cook. They do not have stoves and microwaves like we do. They have a fire. They put either straight on the fire, or they have a little cast iron that they put everything in. They are often cooking for 50 to 100 people at a time, so they are doing that for large groups of people. So some points of interest. The red flag, that is where we landed. That is JRO, or Kilimanjaro International Airport. The middle dot, I know it's a little bit smaller, that is Andrew Conley's School of Preaching. That is where Mr. Greg is going to be doing a lot of his work, checking on the school, checking on the students there, making sure everything is up to where everything needs to be. And then the far left dot is Matawambu, where we did our mission work for that week, where we went out and did our Bible studies. Again, where Mr. Greg, when he's going on his mission trip, is going to do most of his work. We did roughly 20 Bible studies as a group, the 10 of us, over a week. Greg told me he's wanting to do 25 over the month that he's there, so he's going to do more than us, just because of the longer time span and because his knowledge triples everyone that went on our trip. Now, the flight distance from Birmingham to Atlanta to Amsterdam to Kilimanjaro, 8,834 miles. That is roughly a 24-hour trip. And again, that was rough for me. That was 2 back-to-back 11-hour flights when we had 2-hour layover in Amsterdam, and then we had a 4-hour layover in Atlanta. And that was a big big experience for me. This is the sunrise going into Amsterdam, and then that right there is the only time, and Miss Cindy was sitting next to me. We had an Irish woman who was going on a vacation to Tanzania. She got up one time during that 11 hours, and it was while we were going over the Red Sea. So I just thought that was the perfect time to slide over, see a biblical landmark, try to get a picture of it. This is the map while we were flying over Egypt and the Red Sea, and it was incredible for me just to see something that the Israelites had to go through and Moses, and see it for myself, maybe not in person, but from the air. This is the image that you see when you get off the plane. Now, I thought you'd see it get off, go through the nice little chute, go into the airport. No, they bring the stairs straight up to the plane, and you get off and walk across the tarmac. That was completely different from what I expected everything to be. And as soon as you get there, the smell hits you. It's a completely different smell than what it is in Alabama. Think of an old diesel truck and mixed with a little bit of garbage into it too. And I'm not trying to be ugly or anything, that's just how it is. So on Sunday, we spent the night at Andrew Conley School of Preaching. This is the church in Arusha, at the Canisa of Cristo. When you walk in to Andrew Conley, you're greeted with this nice message saying Caribou. Each church service we went to, they had translators, because you never know if they were going to speak Swahili, Maasai, or English. So they had multiple translators there. And they still do take the Lord's Supper with the plates. They pass the plates, but they don't have people pick out of the plates. They have a metal spoon. They put the cracker in your hand, and then you do pick up the cup, and then they would go refill it for everyone else if they ran out. And most of the time they will run out, because we were about in the middle. I mean, it was full. This church building is very large, about the size of this one, and it was completely packed, as the largest church service I've ever been to in my life. Going to Monday, we are now in Matawambu. This is our first day of actual missions. Bo and I went and studied with a Muslim family and a Lutheran family. The one in the top right is the Muslim family. The one in the middle is the Lutheran family. We spoke with them almost every day that week. I think the only day we didn't meet with them was Thursday. But Bo took the reins so I could learn, and then by the end of the week, I started leading the Bible studies. But this is the church at Matawambu that is led at Mosquito River. This is the Mosquito River Church of Christ. We were very late that day. It was supposed to start at 9. We didn't get there until about 10:30. And we were supposed to do Bible studies from about 10:30 to noon, eat lunch, and then go out again for the second round. Again, time over there is not a thing. If you go on our mission trip in 27, just expect that. If you're very time-oriented, you just better leave it in Alabama. Don't take it over there with you. Here's Bo and myself giving out candy and glasses to the children over there while we were walking to our Bible studies. Moving to Tuesday, this is, Bo and myself studied with a Roman Catholic family and a Pentecostal, a Pentecostal woman. We also went back to the Muslim family, like I said. We have Sydney, who has had multiple successful baptisms at this point. We have how a typical Bible study would go. It would be question and answer. So we're not just talking to them the entire time. So we would ask questions like, how would a baptism work at your church, like at a Roman Catholic? And they would say sprinkling. Say, okay, let's go to the Bible and see what it says. We would read them the verse. We would have them read the verse, and we would ask, okay, what does this mean? And they would give their response. We would give them another verse to read. It would just go back and forth. Some lasted 30 minutes. Some would last 2 hours. Just depends. It's different for every set of families, person. Just depends. But that's how most of them would go, question and answer. And the more successful ones would keep going the longer. Now, back to the studies, our translator, who is Desderi, who is the gentleman in the plaid shirt in the bottom left-hand corner right there. He was mine and Bo's translator for the entire trip, and he is a full-time preacher in Arusha, the first city that we went to. The ladies had a successful day on Tuesday. We had 4 or 5 ladies who at our resort that we were staying at who know we were doing mission work, and they wanted to learn more about the gospel. So our ladies went back and did work with them, and they did that on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, so for 3 days in a row. And they had a lot of good, successful work come out of that as well. And I'll have pictures of that group, of the ladies group, on the next slide. Later that night, we went to Gasper's house. He is one of the reasons why there has been 10 churches of Christ built in Matawambu and around the Mosquito River region. This is us in the bottom middle. That is us at Gasper's house that night. He was very hospitable. He cooked us supper, and he was just very nice to let all of us into his home. Our group leader, David, he went with Isaac, who was his translator and our guest co-leader, because he helped with everything, the planning. They went to Ngorongoro and Mongeri to oversee the process of the restroom construction, which again, if they don't have restrooms, the local government shuts that congregation down. They went up there, and there was a coming of age ceremony, which is why Isaac is getting his face painted. So if you're part of the Messiah, you have to have a coming of age ceremony, most of the time when the young boys hit puberty. So that is what this image is showing. All right, on Wednesday, we have the donation of glasses. Here is the ladies' Bible study at our resort. We went to the Lutheran family yet again. We gave them boggins, we gave them glasses, and we went to go study with this family in the bottom right-hand corner, but the husband was not home. The wife was actually ready to go get baptized, but she was afraid, without her husband's permission, that she would get in trouble. So in that culture, in multiple cultures around the world, if the husband does not give you permission, and we experienced this in multiple different scenarios and different Bible studies, that they would not do it without the husband's permission. That was the case with the Muslim family and with this situation as well. Now, like I said, the Bible study is pictured, and that Wednesday evening, we had visitors at our resort. So at our resort, we had the vervet monkeys come and bang on our roofs and swing around the trees. And then the top left picture is Francis, who is another one of our translators. And he speaks better English than anyone here. I can guarantee that. He is not from Tanzania. He's from Uganda. And he had to take a 2-day bus ride back after the mission work was done. And he had to go through Tanzania, Kenya, and then get to Uganda. So he had probably a worse time than we did on our planes. On Thursday, it was only a half day for the men. So from breakfast to lunch, that is when we went to do our campaign work. Bo and I started with 2 Bible studies. One was with a new family, and the other was with the same Lutheran family that we continued to go through the entire week that we started on Monday. The new family had a lot of questions, specifically about instruments, because that's what the father did for work. He was a musician. And They actually ended our study early because he had to go to work. The father of the Lutheran family can now actually read the Bible for himself because we provided glasses for him. The way they try on glasses, there's no eye doctors, so what we provide them, they grab a pair, they try it on. If it doesn't work, they get another pair, just keep going. That's how it works. Now, after we did our 2 Bible studies and after lunch, the men went to the market, the Messiah market, and that's where you can find a lot of the nice things that you see in the foyer out there. The carvings, the elephants, the giraffes, lions, all the above. And that is where you can actually do some bargaining as well. So they will give you a much higher price, and then you can get it down to a much lower price. And Bo and Jeff, we did a carving experience. We went to where they were doing an actual carving. Bo was carving, I can't remember, I think it was a giraffe, was it not? A tree of life, excuse me. He carved the tree of life, which is made popular by Disney's Lion King, and Disney actually did their homework. Simba actually means lion in Swahili. Now, Thursday night was pretty special because we went to the G family, who we support, and because they invited us over for dinner, we had a lot of good fellowship over there, and we got our first taste of home while we were over there. We had brownies, we had sweet tea, we had mashed potatoes, which was amazing considering the food that we have been having. If you can't tell, I didn't like the food. That is probably the hardest thing if you go over there, in my opinion, is the food. Some people might say it's the time change, it's getting used to the weather conditions. No, it's the food. It's 100% the food, in my opinion. Moving on to Friday, we started day 5 going to a Roman Catholic family who appeared to be very wealthy. Our translator, Desderi, estimated that their home would be roughly 100 million Tanzanian dollars, which would come out to be 38,000 USD dollars. Here is Desderi, Bo, and myself walking in to that 100 million Tanzanian dollar home. They invited us in. They were very hospitable, very nice. The young lady on the far left, after we left that home, actually ran us down because she could not see. She was trying to get a pair of glasses. So she tried on, and I think she was maybe 15 or 16 at the oldest. So she tried on multiple pair of glasses, and she found 2 that worked for her, and that is the most genuine smile I think I've ever seen in my life. That made my heart melt. That made the mission trip worth it for me. Just giving glasses to someone that couldn't see for 16 years and then being able to see for the first time. She actually tried to get one of her friends to come back and get glasses, but we didn't have a pair that worked for her. And I was hoping we could find this young lady and her friend again, but we didn't by the time we were done with our mission work. And then Friday and Saturday was the busiest days for the Northport ladies because they were in charge of the children's seminar, and over 200 kids, some of them being from the God is Good ministry, which Mr. Greg is going to be looking over that. Well, he's going over there in the next month as well. Excuse me. That is going to be over there. That is what he's going to be doing over there as well. They went and did games. They had Bible study. They sang. They did crafts. They gave out boggins. We had a few shirts and glasses for the children that we gave out, and lunch was provided for everyone during these 2 days. And that is probably the most important thing because we don't know if some of these kids got lunch or food at all during, if they want to come these 2 days. The middle picture and the top left picture is from the children's seminar. It was, I think I could say this properly, it was probably controlled chaos, but it was good controlled chaos. Everyone had a good time, everyone left with full bellies, and that's the most important thing. Saturday, The men went to Ngorongoro to hear Sydney speak at a gospel meeting. That was a very good lesson. Sydney did an amazing job. And we went and checked on the process of the restrooms at the Ngorongoro congregation. If you notice, the landscape has changed a little bit. It's only about 10 to 15 minutes away from Mosquito River, but we can see that it is a little bit more green, has water. The trees has grown drastically compared to what we see at Mosquito River. A lot of mountains and vegetation in this area, which I thought was pretty cool. You only drive 15 minutes and you see such a drastic landscape change. And then, like I said, the ladies spent the first half of their day finishing up the children's seminar, and everyone met back up at Mosquito River, and we went back to the market since the ladies didn't get to go on Thursday when the men went. Now, Sunday was a very busy day, and like I said, we were half an hour late. We were supposed to be at the church at 9 o'clock. We didn't get there to 10 or 10:30, so we were already running late. I was in charge of Bible class. That is myself and the translator doing Bible class. Mr. David did the Lord's Supper. Jeff did the opening prayer. Austin did the main lesson. Bo led singing. And Sydney helped with the prayers of the Lord's Supper as well. This is the first time I've actually seen that baptism had to be redone, because the pump to get the water into the baptistry at the church was not working. So we had to go to a river that ran through Matawambu. And when the lady went down, her knees came up. So they said, hey, we had to redo it. So the way they prevented her knees from coming back up, they sat on her knees and put her under. That's the first time I've ever seen a baptism be redone. I just thought they will do anything to get someone saved here. I just think how resourceful that this community is of Christians at Matawambu. We had 2 baptisms on Sunday, and one of them was from the family that Bo and I worked with, the Lutheran family. So I thought that was an incredible accomplishment for both of us. And then after the church service, which was the longest church service I've ever been to, we started at 10. We got done around 2 o'clock that afternoon. And after you end, everyone walks out in the line and you shake everyone's hand. It does not matter the age, if it's a small child, or if it's the oldest elder in the congregation. You will shake everyone's hand. And it's almost like a ceremony. And it is one of the best things that they have at this congregation. It connects you with it connects you with everyone, and it makes you feel like you're a part of the congregation. After this week of mission, we had a few days of rest, and our rest looked like this. So we do go on a safari. This was our first 2-day safari. So we went to the Serengeti National Park. We saw 4 out of the big 5. We didn't get to see a rhino, but we did get to see a Cape buffalo, elephant, lion, and a leopard, which was pretty cool. Here's more of day 1. Yes, Bo and myself were crazy enough to get out in the middle of the savannah, and we didn't get eaten, thankfully. And then here is the rest of day 2. Now, the way this safari worked, we slept in tents in the middle of the plains. And it was, since it's their winter, they are having severe windstorms at night. And these tents, they're pretty thick, but if you don't like noise, you're not going to sleep at night. I don't think Bo slept but 2 hours the entire 2.5 days we were there. So he was pretty crabby, but that's okay. All right, final numbers. We had 16 baptisms, which means we had 16 Bibles with personal message given out to the members that were baptized. Over 200 kids in attendance at the children's seminar. We conducted over 50 Bible studies over the 10 groups, the 10 people that went out. 300 pairs of glasses that were donated, over 450 boggins, $10,000 raised for the service projects, and $1,000 raised for the Bibles that were given out. And then coming home, this is where I want to urge you to realize that mission work does not have to mean you have to travel around the world 8,000 plus miles. This can mean you're doing the Lord's work in Tuscaloosa, in Georgia, when we go help with the mission work in Georgia. It just means seeking and saving the lost. That's all it means. We have a lot of people that do not know God's word, and they need the extra push. And everyone in here could give that extra push. And Mr. Greg is going to help that tremendously on his trip coming up this next month. And he told me before we talked this morning, he said he has roughly 7 things he wants to accomplish while he's over there. And I wholeheartedly believe he will accomplish all 7 things while he's over there, probably accomplish 14 of them, because he will go above and beyond. Do we have any questions? We have a little bit of time left. Do we have any questions? Yes.
You know which families to approach. Were they already set up for you, or did you just?
So our translators and the people at Mosquito River, they, about 2 weeks in advance, they already knew we were coming. So they went out to local families and said, hey, we're about to do a mission work, and we're going to have local or people come in, and they had already gave them not really a warning, but say, hey, we're going to have people come in, and that's how they knew that we were coming. So yes, ma'am, we did have the people go out and tell them that we were coming. Any others? Any questions about the 2027 trip? Yes.
Sometimes the intimidation is coming up with the money for it. Can you talk about that a little bit and how?
Okay, so.
Is there any help or?
So there is help. The Northport, this past trip, covered the flights. So they covered there and back. You have to cover, if you want to get vaccinated, which that could be yellow fever, dysentery, yellow fever, anything like that. You cover vaccination. You have to cover the medicines, if you have to have medicines over there. You have to cover your food most of the time. If we go out and eat, you have to cover your food. You do have to cover, most of the time, your hotel fee. And that's pretty much it. So out of pocket, I think I paid $1,200. So if I had to pay the plane tickets, that would have been tripled. So Northport helps tremendously, and that's just because of days like today, Mission Sunday.
You're right, because the Mission Sunday, the contribution that goes into the collection today is going into our mission. And we're not having a trip planned this year, but we are at 27, and those trips are very expensive. We don't know how many people are going in 27 yet. They're working on it now, but we try to cover those plane tickets and perhaps even more when we can. Money has never been an issue in any of our trips in our guide. Good question.
Yes, ma'am.
Talk about what
Okay, so after we leave, the local congregations and our translators and all the elders and deacons at the congregations, they are responsible for going back to every house and every person that we went and met with to do second, third Bible studies. Because if they weren't baptized, it's like, well, maybe we can get them at doing our own Bible study with them. Because sometimes it is intimidating. You have someone coming from a different country. You have someone that doesn't look like you. It's intimidating. I would be intimidated. So that's their job to go and do a second round of Bible studies with everyone that we met with during that week of going out Bible studies across the Mosquito River and Watawambu area. Yes, sir. Age limit, I believe, is if you're 16 or younger, you have to have a parent go with you. 16 and up or 18 and up, you can go by yourself. And that is, you have to get passports. Again, if you want to get vaccinated, you don't have to. It is suggested. And then get all the documents. You have to get visas. You have to get all your things in order, and then you'll be good to go. Anything else? Yes. I believe it's going to be roughly the same time frame as the 25 trip, so end of June, 1st of July. So I think we'll leave on a Thursday and fly back in on July 4th. And it'll still roughly be 2 weeks. Is that it? All right. Thank y'all for listening to me today. If that's all, I'll close this out in prayer. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you for this day and all you do for us. Thank you for letting us come out here today and learn more about the mission work that this church gets to do and gets to go seek and save the lost, Lord. Father, I pray that you be with Mr. Greg as he goes on his mission trip here in a few days. I pray over his safety, that he has a safe flights and safe time while in Tanzania, Lord. Father, I pray that his work touches the souls of hundreds and thousands of people while he's over in Tanzania, Lord. Father, I pray that the people of Tanzania are doing well, that they are being able to benefit from not only Greg's work, but from the work of the local congregations, Lord. Father, I just thank you for the opportunity you provide us to be able to donate and to give money for local and worldly missions, Lord. Father, and I just pray that you please help continue to bless us in this way, Lord. Father, I thank you for the ultimate example of Jesus and how he lived his perfect life. And Father, I pray that we are able to somewhat replicate this in our lives and try to live the best way possible each and every day, Lord. Father, I ask that you please forgive us of all our sins and help us throughout the rest of this service and help us throughout the rest of this week, Lord. It's in Jesus' name I pray. Amen.